When him says so me ma, say na me feel you don't miss so me ha na so me ha. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer me. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer me. Why ma me feel you don't miss farmer me. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer me. Why ma me feel you don't miss farmer. I turn in my car to you, cause true love just make a colo. I have nobody else but you. If you move, girl, I go for loss. And I would to me, what's so on you? Mame, who if you say, who do you? So inside the Asare, Princess, who do you? Doko, Farmer, say, na me feel you, don't miss the farmer, why mommy feel you don't miss the farmer, say na me feel you don't miss the farmer, why mommy feel you don't miss the farmer. You know the way I miss you, baby. Oh, I need no confirm me. You make her treat you like a lady. She did not kind of show me. No more some more, you more. You more small, you more Sunday, no more small, you more. Hey, oh, I need no confirm me. Farmer, say, na me feel you don't miss the farmer, me. Why, mommy feel you don't miss the farmer, me. Say, na me feel you don't miss the farmer, me. Why, mommy feel you don't miss the farmer. Hey, shout out to Girochi, man. I'm gonna say, I turn in my car to you. She did not kind of show me. I have nobody else but you. Oh, honey, no confirm me. When he says so me moi. Say na me feel you don't miss so me ha na wa so me ha. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer, me. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer, me. Why ma me feel you don't miss farmer, me. Say na me feel you don't miss farmer, me. Why ma me feel you don't miss farmer. Sure they check it out, man. Jetey featuring Girochi.
Okay, that was amazing. That was
TGIF.
That was super. Jetey.
Yes.
Yeah. When he's performing, I like to be in the background, maybe in the studio, and now they're shouting Jetey. Like Jetey.
He's super talented.
When you hear a new song from Jetey, and you hear some Jetey in the background, that's Wilberforce in there doing the
and I'll just do 5 hours.
So while he was performing the whole time, the friends like, he's actually fine.
Good morning.
He's fine.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Hey.
We are your lovely hosts.
But Satawale too is fine. What's wrong with you? Why do you do that? And I did. He's fine. No.
Did I actually say that?
You did.
Yeah, sure. It was Lebene. I think you confused me with Lebene.
Like he's fine. No. Okay.
But you have to appreciate God's work.
Good morning to everyone out there. I want to single out a young man I know, and really, Dayi. I really like him a lot. He's very innovative. He is very shy. Why?
Really?
Why?
I also want to mention a young lady, but I know about 3. Should I mention them?
No, you see, I can't confirm or deny at this time. You are ruining my hard-earned image.
But it's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday.
What are you doing tonight?
I'm going to take time to talk to people and try to see how well, for instance, the budget went down with them, or the non-increment, I'm using these words advisedly, non-increment of the VAT went down with them, to try to see how people understand and the forecast of the ordinary Ghanaian out there in respect of this. I'm just going to do this private exercise to start my weekend.
That's nice. Wow.
Yeah.
You will have fun. I mean, it's Friday.
I got used to.
It's Friday.
I got used to a certain lifestyle that, you know, initially I was the type to hang out every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm always out.
You had like a 4-weekend.
Yes, exactly. And on Sunday I hang out till like 4 o'clock. Then I close. But then, you know, maybe old age is setting in. You know, things are different. I'm seeing life differently now.
Man.
Yeah, I see life differently now, and it's always weird. You know, whenever I see, okay, so you were saying,
what happened?
No, I feel maybe it's very politically incorrect.
No, go ahead.
To make a statement.
It's a Friday.
No,
Anything is allowed.
No,
it's a Friday.
Everything is allowed, but the Bible said not everything is beneficial.
Hey, you're taking us to church too.
Yes, that's also one thing. I've really become a church person. Thursday, Friday, not Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Sunday, I do church. So I'm inviting you to church tonight.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I told you I'm working on my spirituality first. Before you go to church. I do the religion bit. So when I get there, I'll let you know.
Jifa has managed to strike a dichotomy between spirituality and religion. Okay, that's fine.
As long as it works for me.
As long as it works for you. Anyway,
but
so good
there's
morning.
A story I wanted to, yes, good morning. We have to greet you lovely people for spending your Friday morning with us. You've been with us since Monday. And the end of the week is here.
Monday to contain Jifa for 5 days.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Monday to contain Jifa for... Congratulations. You are watching me. Congratulations.
He is
well.
Isaac Wilberforce Mensa, a.k.a. Spikey.
And she is Jifa Ekuya Ametam.
This is Breakfast Daily. And remember, we want to keep this conversation interactive. So use the hashtag
Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550 585-832.
Okay, let us know your comments. A lot of things happened yesterday. So from the budget review to what happened with somebody going to take money from requested money from NHIA for a trip to Harvard, and an issue going on in Kumasi that we're actually going to talk about briefly with the police and civilians. I think we mentioned it yesterday, but we really want to look at it. So I saw the story on citynewsroom.com that says police wrongfully killed our brother. Now that's coming from the family members, right? So I think the story started out with 2 policemen were gunned down by some eight guys, and one policeman unfortunately passed away, and then somehow some other policemen went to gun down some guys, and 7 of them they all died. Yes,
it's a really sad incident. I think we should take a trip to Kumasi to let the viewers see, you know, a video, to have a even more a visual background of exactly what happened. So we should take the video.
Take a look at it if we
take
have
a look at the video. Yeah. Anyway, so
but there's a quote here that I wanted to share with our viewers. So this is coming from the brother of the deceased, the family of the 38-year-old. Okay, we have the video here.
Post-gun battle with police at Manson Kwanta on Tuesday. Holding up placards calling for justice for the lives of their brothers, the youth say this is not the first time the police have killed people in the community. The furious youth burned car tires in the middle of the road, blocking all roads leading to and from the central mosque. They pelted stones at some armed police personnel who came to the scene, led by the Meshia Divisional Police Commander, ACP Kwekubwa, amidst gunshots. While this was going on, another section of the agitated youth was also setting ablaze a tricycle popularly known as Mahama Kambu after failed attempts to burn down the police station. One of the officers who spoke to me off record said the facility was saved by rounds of warning shots he fired. He said the personnel had to immediately rely on fire extinguishers from a nearby mechanic shop to quench the fire. Some of the agitated youth spoke to City News.
kuko. Ye nipa tisemwa. Yantu abanswa munyobia. Yantu aba munyobia. Yampani fosu munyasem de biancheye. Ana yaku, achina chi yaku aba.
Calm has finally returned to the community now following police coup military reinforcement. However, the Ashanti Regional Chief Imam Sheikh Abdul Mumin Harun has also intervened, calling for calm.
FM stations in India. Oh my God, I'm saying no. And I wait my cover. I hear me as you will be as Munya over. I said, maybe actually,
roads to and from the police station have been blocked with heavily composed joint military presence. Shops have also been closed as traders flee for their dear lives.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean,
sad.
I cringed when I listened to the women, just watching the fear and anger in their eyes, right? So we don't know the full story. All we know is that the Lance Corporal Daniel Tick, who was on duty with his colleague Lance Corporal Eric, when they were gunned down, right? And then this happens. But I think you're a lawyer, right? Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Right, and from the part of the police, I understand that sometimes armed robbers go after the policemen and they have to defend themselves. And we've heard so many stories of policemen dying on the field, right? So sometimes, yes, the policemen, they have to protect themselves as well because they are human beings before they are even policemen, right? So it's not okay for an armed robber to take, you know, to kill somebody, and it's also not okay for a policeman to shoot to kill, because if 7 people and none of them, I don't know. It's
you see, the story, it's a really sad story. I mean, there are a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense. We agree that, you know, the police are supposed to protect us, the police are supposed to take measures when you can't secure a safe arrest. But then you're looking at a state where the report does not say that even one person escaped.
Yeah,
so you managed
7.
to kill all 7 people, assuming that the people were 7. You managed to kill all 7. So at the time, maybe you killed first, second, assuming without admitting that the position of the police is true, the story that they're putting out there. You killed first person, second person, third, when it was even left with the last person. So the person seeing that all his people are dead was actually still shooting. Doesn't really make sense. And we have not heard a single account of a neutral individual, a bystander, who can corroborate the story of the police that there was exchange of gunfire at the event.
And we also haven't heard of anyone who can also confirm that they were not armed robbers, right? So we've heard the side of the family, right? And we empathize with them, but we still need to know what made the police think that...
As of now, it behoves rather on the police to prove that they were indeed armed robbers. It's not the person to prove that they were not armed robbers.
Well, the person's not even alive.
Yes, the police need to prove beyond reasonable doubt, actually, that they were indeed armed robbers. Because we've seen several people at the place saying that these people are... Was that the sheikh of the place? The sheikh was saying that the imam was saying that his grandson is part of this. Several people have come out to say that they were not armed robbers. So even if you're looking at numerically, all these people are saying that they were not armed robbers, and it seems the police or a few policemen who actually engaged in this are saying that they were indeed armed robbers. Now, I'm just thinking about it. You're saying, okay, so there was exchange of gunfire. Common sense tells me that, for instance, a policeman would not run barefooted or run just like that. When there are exchange of gunfire, you at least take shelter or hide maybe behind your vehicle of some sort. So imagine that these 7 men are not well trained and they are shooting and they are missing you as a human being, a smallish human being. Are we saying that they did not even hit your vehicle? None of their bullets. We saw the guns they were using. They were using SMGs. They were using AK-47s. The guns that the police allege that these people are using. There were several rounds of live ammunition, not used ammunition.
Wow. Live
ammunition displayed. Now, if you're saying that these people were shooting back at you, there's no sign that even a single police vehicle was even hit. You understand? Or even a single policeman was injured. Yeah. 7 people holding SMGs, firing several rounds per second, are shooting at you policemen, and not even a single policeman got a scratch. These policemen are either really skilled, they're either really skilled in gun battle, or they are not being honest.
But my thing is, police brutality is not something that's normal in Ghana. Our policemen are like our friends. You see them, you laugh with them. Worst case, when I see a policeman stop me in the middle of the night, I don't think they want to harm me. Right? Worst case scenario, maybe they just want 2 or 3 cedis and we laugh and they don't have it and you leave. I think our policemen are one of the friendliest people we have in our society. So it's shocking and disappointing to me to hear that somewhere in this Ghana, 7 young people lost their lives, assuming they were the worst of society. Isn't it up to the court to decide? Yeah,
it's I think situation specific. When it comes to certain things, especially when you harm one of their own. This incident followed one policeman dying, losing his life.
And we're very sorry for his loss, and our heart goes out to his family, because we understand definitely. Being a policeman is a very selfless career path, and no one wants to die in that manner.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that is very true. So may his soul, the policeman who, and including the 7 people who died, may they also rest in peace.
Every life matters. Like,
every life matters. But bottom line is that the police get a bit trigger happy. It seems not even just the police, our security personnel, sometimes the military as well. So when an incident happens, we saw post Major Mohammed's death, we saw how several images of several people lying down on the floor, like the entire village, more or less, I'm using the entire advisedly, they were the young men in the village, the way they were rounded up by the military was not too becoming of, human dignity.
But I will admit, like, when I watched that video, because bystander effect, even if you didn't participate in lynching this man, what did you do to stop it? And that's what makes this story even more sad for me, is because sometimes when I see mob violence, I'm always thinking, where's the policeman? Where's the policeman to save this criminal? Or, when I see somebody attacking someone who's supposed to be a criminal, I'm like, where are our security men? Right? So to hear these same people I personally look up to as our heroes kill seven young men, you could have just, I don't know, shot in the air or something.
If according to them, the people had guns, so they may have to shoot, but I don't think shoot to kill should be the first policy. I mean, they're shooting at you. If they were shooting at you, then maybe justified that they shot back. But to shoot all 7 for the rest of Ghana to believe, with nobody outside the police fraternity or the police force saying that, the people were actually shooting at you, it just appears, the story appears a bit ridiculous. That, seriously, if I'm with 7 people and I'm shooting at the police, I'm shooting at some people who are shooting back, and they've gotten like 4 of my people, and we haven't gotten even a single one of them, it becomes difficult for me to still keep shooting, because it seems like what the accounts will say, boba. You understand? You might want to drop your weapon and hope you be arrested and then sent to jail for whatever. I'm just saying, the story does not seem very credible. It seems more likely, according to what the people are saying. But these are all speculations at this point. But then it just seems more likely or more probable that maybe post the shooting, maybe, I mean, that's the version being put out by the people out there, that their brothers and sisters are not criminal. And what they believe strongly is that after the police shot at them, then the police would put, you know, guns by them and the like. That's the version being put out there. So some people may be more compelled to believe their version over the police version. But what is more important in incidents like this, or what would help stop incidents like this, is, for instance, if there is an independent body, a body outside the police. We do have PIPs, it's true. And arguably, the argument from maybe the police side would be that even when you go to America, internal affairs is also part of the police. But internal affairs is seen actively pursuing police brutality, actively pursuing police or dirty policemen for that matter. But then PIPs overtly don't seem to be doing much with their name. Fortunately, we have put someone in charge of PIPs who seems to be popular when it comes to, you know, solving fights against crime. I mean, he's fantastic. We all know him for that. But then, are they actively doing things? Because look at what happened with the Joy FM reporter Latif. In April, he was diagnosed with a fractured skull. All those things. So this happened, an incident that happened about a year before now, and now, up to now, nothing has been done. I mean, this incident happened at the headquarters of the police service, the headquarters. And are we then saying that we seriously have not found the police officer who actually did this? It does not make sense in the least. It didn't happen in some remote village. It didn't happen in some town somewhere. It happened right in front of the police headquarters. And for no offense. Even if it was for an offense, it was a bit brutal. You can't do that. But then for no offense, this happened, and up to now. And then they intended to, Media Foundation for West Africa wanted to organize a sort of a conference, a sort of deliberation between journalists and the police. And then GJA says, no, we are not going to involve ourselves in this. And I understand GJA perfectly, because you're going to sit and have a talk of what they already know they should do. You know you're not supposed to assault people, but then you go ahead and do all these things.
And then you want to talk about it.
But that being said, there are some policemen, like you said, who are fantastic. There are some policemen
There are lots
nice.
of policemen, right? And for me, one of the things I think Ghana we're blessed with is that our policemen are not paranoid of us, right? Other parts of the world, a policeman will see a certain type of young person and automatically assume this person wants to harm me. So the person can even just, you know, dig into their pockets for an ID card or Skittles, like a candy bar, and literally die because the policeman is afraid that this person is going to harm me. So I want to put it out there that our security officials, our security personnel, our policemen, our soldiers, we beg you, okay, don't assume because 2 or 3 young men are standing in some areas you consider, you know, are violent prone, that they are criminals. Sometimes they are not. Right? And I think I told you...
I don't even think we have to beg them, because I think they need to be punished if they do the wrong thing. Just like every other civilian needs to be punished when they do the wrong thing. If
certain civilians are taking it upon themselves to think that they can harm policemen and get away with it, we need to address it, right? Because a policeman lost his life. Why did they have to do that, right? And it wasn't just them. The people who were in the car were injured. So if I'm in a car and a policeman is there with me and somebody is gunning us down, I'm expecting the policeman to save me. And I'm thinking that when these guys see policemen in the car, they'll be afraid of even doing anything, right? So this is deeper than that. Are we giving our policemen the resources they need to serve this nation well, so that when a criminal sees a policeman, they will stop and say, let me not do this because these are the consequences of my actions, right? Some people genuinely are not afraid of policemen because they think they can just kill them. Right, and this is somebody who's serving us. I don't think policemen make enough money for the sacrifices they make for us. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., they're standing out there checking cars, making sure that we are safe. Yes, there are a few bad ones out there who will sell our security for a couple of cedis, but it does not warrant that. And if people continue to harm policemen, then the policemen are going to get paranoid. So anytime they see someone who look like the guy who harmed their friend, they're going to defend themselves. And we shouldn't get to that point where our security personnel are paranoid of us. They are there to protect us. And the issue of guns, we shouldn't be carrying guns around. Like, I don't get it.
You mean the police or
no, not the police, the civilians. Why do people have guns?
Well, yeah. Well, some would argue that they keep the guns to protect themselves because you can't find a policeman everywhere. But I think the solid argument you're throwing at is the fact that, you know, crime itself, the criminals should be sensitive and look, let the criminals stop and let the police stop.
Yeah.
Let crime stop. Those who are engaged in criminality is not necessary. It's really not necessary. There are many other things you can do
in this country.
There are many other
so
things
many
you
things
can do
in this country.
And to have the audacity to shoot a policeman in uniform is a bit extreme. So you understand why the police would be upset. I 100% understand why the police would be upset. But channel your anger the right way. Channel your anger the right way.
And the same thing actually goes... Go ahead. Let me let you finish.
Well, don't be upset with 7 people who probably upset you one way or another. Maybe you are just passing, they insult you, or you ask them to move and they decide not to move, and then it becomes a scuffle. And because some images show that the victims, the dead, those who are dead, some images show that it appears as if some even had cuts on them. So we wonder how a bullet can even inflict a cut on a person per se. You know, it looked like lacerations.
Wow.
You know, so, you know, we should actually look into this. The PIPs, right now, PIPs is the only thing we have. We are calling for an independent body to investigate the police when they go wrong. But then right now, PIPs is all we have. We are hoping PIPs actually looks into this. And this does not continue to be one of the 1-year things that we hope, or you hope Ghanaians forget about it and stop talking about it. This is serious. Let's use this as an example. 7 people are dead. The families are saying they're innocent.
8 including the police.
8 including the police. We cannot sit here and say that they were innocent. However, even if they were guilty, did the police use the right measures? So let there be a full investigation into this. So even if they were criminals, did the police go by the right way? Do we have enough evidence to support that they even had guns, or they even shot at the police whether they had guns? Did they surrender? Let's look at all these. So let there be a full investigation into this. Let's not let this go.
And my advice to the family members really is, let's not allow our emotions. Yes, we know we are grieving. We think our brothers were wrongly accused, but let's not use this to also target other innocent policemen, right? Let's not go to the police station and try and do things we shouldn't do, right? We should leave things. I really respect the imam for going there and telling them that even my grandson was part of the 7 young men, and I'm asking you to please don't do this.
I really respected him a lot when like, if I say fire, what will you do? And he all said fire. He says no. When I say fire, don't fire. That was very solid.
It's important because sometimes we are so mad. We are all looking for a common enemy to vent to, and sometimes you pick the wrong
people.
Person. There was a news in the Bronx a couple of weeks ago. A bunch of young guys killed an innocent 14-year-old kid because he looked like somebody they were after. You know, so let's not go. You remember that, yes, your son is dead, and we are sorry about that, but the policeman that you're also going after is somebody's child. And he could do all the right things, but show up at the wrong place at the wrong time. And because people are angry, they will vent out their anger towards him, and then, you know, he will also lose his life. Every life is important in this country. We are constantly talking about the importance of human capital. We cannot afford to lose any more people. And even if you are a criminal, that's why we have correctional facilities, right? To correct you. They might not be the best facilities, so you can get back into the society and be a productive member of our community. So I really don't want us to start targeting policemen and think that, oh, every policeman out there is bad. It's not. That's not the case.
Definitely not. Anyway, let me see. We have a message here from a few of our viewers. This one is from Samuel. Samuel says, the deafening silence from the Interior Minister is strange. This should not be left in the hands of the Ghana police to investigate. And I think that's a solid message. That's what we have been talking about, all this while. Let's not leave it. We have PIPs. PIPs is actually police. If you tell me to investigate Jaffa, I'll be biased. If you tell Jaffa to investigate me, she will be biased, not in my favor. But simply because she doesn't like me, she will be biased.
I'm glad you know that.
But bottom line is that it's difficult to have an independent investigation when people are part of people. It's very difficult.
Exactly.
And we have cause to believe that, in times past, they have not been very forthcoming, or they have not been very solid in their investigations. And I'm still using this Joy FM reporter, Latif, this multimedia reporter person as an example, where it's been almost a year down the line and nothing, absolutely nothing has been done in respect of same. So we need to be serious as a country. The Interior Ministry needs to speak. We need a full report. If indeed the persons were guilty, let's have a convincing report of their guilt. And if they were innocent, let those policemen be sanctioned. Serious sanctions that the general public, the Ghanaian public, will know that these people were sanctioned, they were incarcerated and the likes. Then we know that, okay, we can trust the police. We are moving forward as a nation. But in the absence of same, and you expect Ghanaians to still trust the police, it's a bit difficult. The civil unrest will end when we see the police are doing their job.
And it looks like the Director General of Police Public Affairs, ACP David Eklu, actually agrees with you, because he said on City Newsroom that it is very important that we get a body outside the police service to look at all the circumstances, to look at what went right, what went wrong, and we see the way forward. That is the stance of the police administration now. It is for sober reflection over the incident, a dispassionate discussion of the incident, and see how the issue will be resolved. So I'm happy that they at least agree with what you're saying, that we need a neutral body. But we had a big day yesterday, the budget review, the mid-year budget review, and it's all in the news. So we're going to discuss that in the news review. Join us with the hashtag
Breakfast Daily. And
the WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
Come international media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on CTTV.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday morning with us. Now we're going to delve right into the news review, starting with Daily Graphic. So the front page of the Daily Graphic says, Finance Minister swerves all, maintains VAT at 12.5%, NHIL get fund become straight levies. That story is on page 3. Mandela would have endorsed Ghana Beyond Aid. That is coming from our president, and the story is on page 16. Government increases VAT through back door. That's coming from the minority, and the story is on page 21. And finally, President visits dam construction site. Story on page 22.
Okay, well, the Ghanaian Times this morning says 2018 mid-year review, mid-year budget review, government adopts new strategies to mobilize revenue to sustain macroeconomic gains. The full story is on page 17 this morning of the Ghanaian Times, as well as majority-minority lock horns over mid-year budget review. And also rampaging youth clash with police over killing of 7 suspected robbers in Kumasi. And finally, MPs jeer at presentation of mid-year budget review. Full story of that is on page 4 of the Ghanaian Times this morning.
Now on to the Daily Heritage. Government has released land at Mimpasem to us. That story is on page 2. Ofori Atta wows traders as Guta welcomes accurate mid-year budget. But minority says government has increased VAT through back door. That story is on page 3. Highlights of 2018 mid-year budget on page 6. And 3 ICT firms fight cyber threats. That story is on page 5.
Okay, The Independent, don't jubilate, VAT increase through backdoor. This is coming from the former finance minister, Seth Tekpe. And also, I feel like a prophet, Kufo. This is the full story of that is on page 2 this morning of the Independent newspaper.
Now on to the Finder. New taxes to rake in 845 million Ghana cedis. Expenditure cut by 664 million Ghana cedis to bridge a 1.4 billion Ghana cedi revenue shortfall. That story is on page 2. VAT increased in disguise. Prices will go up. That is coming from Seth Tekpe, who is our former finance minister. The story is on page 4. And we've been set up to fail. Wasi blind, that's coming from blind SHS students. And that story is on page 5. New ambitious housing schemes take off next month. The story is on page 4. And Asawasi youth on rampage to protest police brutality. Story is on page 6.
Okay, Gold Street Business has it here on its front page that government resorts to barter arrangement to address infrastructure deficit. And also County GVG ITU Regional Director commends progress on monitoring platform, as well as private sector output growth eases to 5-month low. And finally, government to launch massive IT training project across the country.
Good.
Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, I think we'll go straight to introducing our guest for today. But
yes,
remember,
we have a very special guest. But yeah, you were saying the hashtag.
Remember to join us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and of course the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832 this morning on Breakfast Daily, and join the discussion. So we have been joined indeed by the Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance, Honorable Abenaa Osei Asare. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
And she's the first female panelist we've had so far. We talked about women in politics yesterday, and we're so happy to have a woman join us today. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
Okay, well, in a second, we'll be joined by Honorable Dafeamekpor. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for South Dayi. So he'll be joining us in a few seconds for us to go on with the discussion. So our first story.
Okay, we'll start with the Daily Graphic. Page 3 says, Finance Minister swerves all, maintains VAT at 12.5%. NHIL Get Fund becomes straight levies. So I'll just read briefly here. It says that the new measures include the conversion of the National Health Insurance Levy to 2.5% to a straight levy of 2.5%. Conversations of Get Fund VAT rate of 2.5% to a straight levy of 2.5%, and the review of personal income tax to include an additional band of 10,000 Ghana cedis and above per month at a rate of 35%. Now, we want to understand what this means exactly. It's a mouthful.
Okay. The mid-year budget review, we all know, is a requirement of the PFM law. That after 6 months of implementing your budget, you need to come to the people of Ghana through Parliament to tell them what you have done, and you tell them the way forward and how to achieve the full implementation of the full budget. So we came to Parliament yesterday to tell the people of Ghana that, yes, you gave us the permission to implement this budget. 6 months down the line, but we use figures from January to May, because that is what we can confirm for now. So 5 months, 6 months down the line, we realized that our revenues are short by 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. The expenditure is also short, but by 796 million Ghana cedis. But we realized that in the expenditure, there are some things that went over and above the target. And in the revenues too, there are some things that went way below target. So we are coming up with measures to help us reduce the gap on the expenditure side, and at the same time reduce the gap, fill the gap on the revenue side. So on the revenue side, we introduced 3 new tax measures, as well as strict compliance measures that we believe if we should fulfill all these things, it will help us close the gap and help us achieve the full implementation of the 2018 budget. In the first instance, we said that we're introducing a new income tax bracket. You know, the income tax, it's in bands. The first 261, it's zero rated, and then the next is 70, and then 100, and it goes on like that. Previously, anything after 2,810 gives you 25%. We apply a 25% tax margin on it. Now we're saying that anybody who earns above 10,000, we will apply that difference. We will apply a tax of 35%. We believe that in a country where we want to build this country together, it is better to redistribute wealth when the need arises. To take something small from the rich and then redistribute it for all of us. So we did the background checks, and then we realized that in the public sector alone, you can have about 23,000 people in that bracket. And we believe that if we should apply that level of tax, it will help us achieve some revenue to help us close the gap. This time we are not passing it on to the poor. We believe that those who are way up here and can do something about it to help us sort of cushion the people down the line. Let's all do it.
Sorry, before you move on to the next one, I just want a clarity on this particular one. The 35% is an additional tax on the excess, the amount above the 10,000.
Yes, say
not the
you
entire.
12,000. You earn 12,000 cedis a month. The tax bands will still apply, but previously it ended at 25%. So let's say if it's 10,000 or it's 11,000. That whole band will be we will apply 25% to that one. By this time, if it's 12,000, the 2,000 difference we will apply
an additional
3,000. Sorry, 35%.
Okay.
That is what we are talking. Not the whole 10,000, because already the income brackets, like, they are in bands. 25. There's 5. There's 10. There's 17.5, and there's 25%.
So an additional 35% to the 25%, making it 60%.
Yes,
60% of the 2,000.
Not 60% of the 2,000. Okay, let me help you. Let me cite this example. Okay, I earn 15,000. Assuming you earn 15,000, we do all the math and everything. So the next we have 261 Ghana cedis where it's free. Then additional 70 where it's taxed at 5%, and then we have an additional 100 Ghana cedis. So it will be just building up like that. So you get to previously, so you get to the 25%. So let's say if you had 10,000 in 25% bracket, previously we applied the 25% on the 10,000. But now we are saying that you have an excess of 15,000. So we will apply 5, the 25%, all right. But beyond the 10,000, that's the 5,000, we'll apply 35%. And that will be added on to,
But wouldn't you say that in an economy that the vast majority of us don't actually pay taxes, aren't you punishing the few? I think only 1.5 million Ghanaians actually pay taxes.
Yes, that is part of the compliance measures, and we believe that with the coming into effect of the NIA, the registration of Ghanaians onto the system, we will be able to know exactly how much each and every person earns, and those that we have to go after to pay taxes, we will do that.
Okay.
But as we're doing that too, we believe that this can also help us close the gap and also redistribute wealth.
Okay.
The main intention is to redistribute wealth. We don't want to apply it on the people way below, but we believe that you are up here and you can let go something small to help all of us, manage the economy and manage it efficiently. And then we also came up with a luxury vehicle tax.
Yeah, but let's get back to the 2.5 bit, because that one, the 2.5h on the
VAT.
Yes,
we'll get to that one. There are three measures, new measures. Vehicle, yes, the PIT, the tax component on the income tax, and then the luxury vehicle and the VAT. So we're on the luxury vehicle now, and for that one, we're saying that if you have a vehicle above 3.0 liters and above, you'll be surcharged with a tax ranging between 10,000 and to 2,000. We believe that this is
1,000 to 2,000,
yes,
or 10,000 to 2,000.
Sorry, 1,000 to 2,000. Thanks for that. Yes, 1,000 to 2,000. If it's between 3.0 to 3.5 liters, you do 1,000. If it's 3.5 to 4, you do 1,500. And then if it's above 4.0, it's 2,000. These things happen in a lot of countries where we go and then we see that they are developed. These are some of the things that they use and they take from the rich and then sort of spread it around. And moreover, we also want to check pollution. And these cars emit more pollution than the cars way below 3.0. And then the almighty one, which I
initially asked of,
is VAT. Introducing some level of efficiency.
Okay.
In the way the VAT is collected. That is all we have done. Okay. We haven't introduced anything outside what we're doing. But this time, we are introducing efficiency. In every measure that you introduce, anything that you introduce efficiency, you see some form of maximization of, if it's wealth, you see maximization of that wealth. If it's taxes, you see some upward adjustments in the taxes. So the first thing we said is that we're separating the NHI levy, National Health Insurance levy, and the Get Fund levy from the main VAT of 17.5. Now VAT is 12.5. The NHIL is already a levy. When you look in the Act, it's already a levy. It's the Get Fund that is not a levy. So previously, we were showing 15%, and then we showed 2.5% NHIL. But now what we are saying is that the VAT will show 12.5%, the NHIL will show 2.5%, and then the Get Fund will show 2.5%. These two have become straight levies, where we will not attach it to the VAT when producers businesses are accounting for their total VAT. This time we will take it outright. Previously, we were adding it to the whole bunch, and then they were doing their input-output VAT, and then they give us, well, what is left. But now what we are saying is that the input-output VAT should exclude the NHIL levy, should exclude the Get Fund levy. And that is what we are doing.
Why? Why is that?
Because we want it to be separate. We want it to stand alone. Because we believe that in letting it stand alone, we will introduce some level of efficiency. And obviously, once we introduce some level of efficiency, it will go up. It is the same amount of money that we are taking. It's the same 17.5. If you should add, or it's still 17.5. But this time, when you do your inputs, outputs, the government gets more, because the government is only taxing you on the 12.5, not the 17.5. So the extra 5% comes directly to government. You, the trader or the importer or whoever it is, you don't have to account for that 5%. So that 5%, government is saying, it is not yours. I am taking it outright before you do your math and then you calculate it for us. And that certainly introduces some level of efficiency. And so what government will take from you will be slightly higher. And I mean, let's face it, we haven't changed the rate. Once you introduce efficiency in everything.
Yeah, as much as we say we haven't changed the rate, we know that this would have been, businesses would have gotten some form of tax returns or tax credits from this 5%, which was initially attached to the VAT. Now that it's been separated, businesses would, of course, pass off the extra costs that they may have originally been making through the tax returns and tax credits to, for instance, the ordinary consumer. So prices of goods inherently may still go up. Would you agree?
But that shouldn't be the case. What we are saying is that we were assessing you on the 15%. Now we want to assess you on the 12%. Why do you want to pass 12.5%? Why do you want to pass that extra to the consumer? That is not how we do things. It is high time we also do things right. Just as we expect government to do things right, we also expect all of us as citizens of this country to also do things right. We were assessing you on 15%. So based on that, you were doing your inputs, outputs, and then giving government what is due. But now government is saying that in addition to the 2.5% that we were taking out, we are also taking the Get Fund out. So we'll assess you on your 12.5%. And so your cost build up should be the 12.5%. It shouldn't be more than 12.5% unless you are doing something that is untoward. Because
so
this is the tax level.
We'll look into that, but we're joined by Honorable Rockson-Nelson, Dafeamekpor, who is the MP of South Dayi. Good morning. How are you? And thank you for correction.
It's okay.
We understand.
Lots of these struggles with it,
so there's a story here also on page 21 that says government increases VAT through backdoor. That's coming from the minority. So I will briefly mention what Mr. Aveji says. He said it is a change of name. Is it a change of name or semantics? No, the minister in his presentation said the policy changing from VAT to flat rate or levy of 2.5% was bringing in additional revenue to government. Who is paying that additional revenue? The people of this country, you and me who consume. He said the prices of goods and services would go up as soon as the implementation of VAT is rolled out, because government will start applying 2.5%, but not on value added, but on total value of goods. What exactly does that mean?
Exactly our point. You know, their intention was to increase the VAT rate, clearly. But when we took the wind out of their sail, they had a crisis. So now they had to resort to euphemisms. Now, this is what they have done. But fundamentally, let me make the point that they have even breached the VAT Act.
Really?
They may have to come to Parliament to amend it. Because they have. Because by reviewing the rates through an executive policy, the statutory provision has been breached. So they may have to come to remedy that, first of all. Because they are by executive, they have reduced the rate from 17.5 to 12.5.
But they just separated it. I thought it was just a separation.
You know, in the law, it was factored. That is why when you are charging VAT, you charge VAT 12.5, NHIS get fund, and they are all known as the VAT rate. Just that the extra 5 goes to NHIS, half goes to get fund. They have, by executive decision, decided to whittle off the 5% and apply it in a manner that they think the people are not discerning enough to know. And I will bring that to bear on the discussions. Now, they have also forgotten that GRA, at the beginning of every year, ordered VAT booklets at very heavy cost to the state, which contains the statutory defined 17.5. Are we going to throw all those booklets away and print a new one?
That's petty.
Hold on. They are making very simplistic arguments, thinking that they are rather the new tax policies will bring a reduced cost to the state, will make them more efficient. They have rather incurred more cost to the state. Now, I heard my sister say that when you account for 12.5, it brings more efficiency. It does not. What they simply have done is that VAT used to be applicable to certain selected goods and services and consumables. Now, they are asking you to apply the 12.5 on those selected consumables and goods and services. And then the 2.5 for NHIS on everything. Because they are calling it, they are using the euphemism straight levy. And straight levy will be applicable to everything. So they have expanded the threshold for that. She said it will bring them more money. Then they have also expanded
bring the government.
Yes, more money. That all they are doing is to make more money.
Efficiency.
No, there will be no efficiency. Because you just spoke about the fact that your revenue generation is poor. There's a shortfall. So they are using very disingenuous means to find ways to bring in more money. And I'll show you how. So the 12.5%, the 2.5% is also for get fund. It's also a straight levy, also applicable on everything. Now, here is the trick. Everybody will think that the money will go to get fund and NHIS. They have, since last year, they've been running a policy of capping and debt alignment. So with these two policies, now they are going to direct NHIS that the monies that are coming to you, you keep 30%, you bring 70% to the center. You see, they'll use these two policies to claw the money back to the center.
You're just speculating us at this point.
No, we are not speculating. These are policies they are running, and they are applying it to every state agency.
Speculated and you failed.
No, we didn't speculate and fail. Because we exposed them, now they must use every means to maintain what they originally intended to do. And this is what they are doing. We are waiting for them. We will see whether they will not apply the capping policy. We are even applying capping policy to Accra Psychiatric Hospital. Even there, you are applying capping policy. So which state agency are you going to leave out? So they will use this policy and take the money, a chunk of the money, back to the center. This is a very top-heavy government. You heard her. Their expenditures are out of scale.
I never said so. I said our expenditures are down.
No?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You never said yes,
That's what I said. So that's what I'm saying. Our expenditures are down. We budgeted 24 million, 24 billion, and then we have done 23. Our expenditures are down. But in that component, in some components of the expenditure, we have realized that compensation went up. I said our expenditures are down. I will come to that compensation. And that compensation includes the arrears that in 2016 they left for us as inheritance.
I only assisted them with figures.
You were very quiet, but you are saying things that I never said. You are claiming to things that I never said.
No, but I heard you say so clearly. So let me zoom on. Let me hold on. Let me zoom on.
We will come back to both of you. We'll go for a quick break so that we are all on the same page. We're discussing the VAT, right? We're discussing the 2.5% and 2.5%
straight levy.
Straight levy. Yes. So do not go anywhere. If you have any questions for our panel, please, panelists, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp number
0550-585-832.
Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
International media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who's played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on City TV.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Now, before the break, we were discussing the increase of VAT or separation of VAT, depending on which side of the what is the poll divide you are. But I'm looking at the document right now, the mid-year fiscal policy document on page 20.85. It says expenditure performance. Mr. Speaker, the total expenditure, including arrears clearance, amounted to amounted to 23.756 million. That's 9.8% of the GDP, and constitutes 38.3% of the annual budget target. Although the outturn was 3.2% lower than the programmed target of 24.553 million Ghana cedis. So that's it looks like it was actually lower than the
Slightly.
Okay.
But there's a component that they agreed that went up.
Yes, and that's exactly what
that
she
is
said.
compensation. Compensation. That's salaries and allowances and benefits.
And pensions.
Please.
Gratuities.
Please.
Article 71 holders.
This is 2018 media review. And she speaks of arrears of teachers in 2016.
Yes.
Is that what she's saying?
Yes, that's what I said.
So what happened in 2017?
That's what I said.
You understand my point? So these are things they decided to defer. And it's coming back to hit them. So you can't blame. They're always blaming the NDC. And let me tell you, the compensation went up because this is a very, very top-heavy government. They have 1,697 presidential staffers alone.
That's so true.
And do you know what that means? Their salary scales are equivalent to that of deputy ministers, presidential staffers.
Allegedly.
Why?
Allegedly. I like that.
Why?
Allegedly.
No, presidential staffers. Allegedly. They are on the scale of deputy ministers.
Allegedly.
Anybody who is properly designated as a presidential staffer, you can't be compensating them monthly lower than that of a deputy minister. You know, and they are personal assistants. They have all manner of appointments. So that is what is a drain on the revenue that is coming, and they will not admit it. There are 110 ministers of state. 110. Do you know what that means?
No.
It's a big drain on the purse. Now, so clearly, they have reviewed the VAT rate upwards by detaching the base from the added ons and spreading the added on everything. So in effect, more money will come to them in the center. But you see, they have to use Get Fine NHIS to, as it were, bamboozle you and I. So we will think that the monies are going to Get Fine NHIS directly, so it's not coming to government. But I've told you that beyond that threshold, they are going to apply the capping policy and claw every money back to the center. Cleverly done, but exposed. Now let's go to what they call the luxury tax. Who says that if I purchase a 3.0 cc capacity vehicle, that is a luxury vehicle? If I buy a tractor with a 3.5 cc capacity, is tractor a luxury vehicle? So they have, again, they are applying euphemisms to bamboozle us that the tax they seek to introduce is purposely for luxury vehicles.
And we have it up on the screen.
Yes,
actually.
it is not a tractor, it's not a farm implement. It's
But
not
I think the Honorable mentioned that it was for pollution.
And it's for private vehicles, and it's not for commercial vehicles.
Hold on, I'll get there.
Okay.
I'll get there. You didn't make that distinction. They are now...
It was announced
hold on.
by the Minister of Finance.
To be fair, the Minister said luxury vehicles with 3.0 and above capacity. So a tractor is not necessarily a luxury vehicle, even though it has 3.0 and above.
Why?
And it's only for commercial vehicles.
No,
it is not for commercial vehicles.
Those were the words the
Minister
Minister
used.
Hold on. They are saying luxury.
You know, let's not interpret something that is clear to read and understand.
You see,
It is right
you see,
in
they
there.
are now. We are exposing them now, and now they are coming back to give a clearer explanation.
The document that we have presented to Parliament. It is right in there.
I have been very fair to you as to time. Now, this is my point. They have also erroneously assumed that it is the vehicles with the higher capacities that pollute more. No. Every 1.0 vehicle, Dayi Matis, or a Toyota or an Opel Corsa, if it's not properly maintained, it is about the age of the vehicle and maintenance.
Okay.
If you don't maintain your vehicle 1.0 will still pollute. And her vehicle V8 4.7 or 5.7.
Don't say things you don't know. I don't own a V8. I don't own a V8.
By your capacity as a deputy minister, I assume that you have that.
Okay, let's assume it. There's somebody who agrees with you.
So let me make the point.
There's actually someone who agrees with you.
And a new V8 4.7 cc or 5.7 cc will not emit at all. Because it's properly maintained. So that assumption too on their part is so erroneous and wrongful. So it is the age of the vehicles that matter, not the capacity. I think what they intended to do was to use the capacity vis-a-vis fuel consumption. But they can't tell us because fuel prices are up. So they can't clearly say that because they consume more, they must slap that tax. And it is shocking that every year, if I own a vehicle of that nature, I must pay 2,000 Ghana cedis annually. What? Do you know how many vehicles of that nature are in this country? So, this government is guzzling money. So they are just using every means. Because they can't collect the tax revenue collection, they are leaking. They came to tell us that they are introducing a lot of policies to bring efficiency. They are failing. So they must look for means to claw in more money so they can spend.
Okay.
Now
let me just bring Honorable because she has to respond.
No, let me deal with the third one. Let me deal with the income one. No, I'm not going on. I'm tackling all the three policies we have just discussed.
I'm sorry about that.
Income. You work with City TV. And when you are paid 12,000 Ghana, I'm sure your rent is in excess of 2,000 or 3,000. Your children's school fees are in excess, if you have two, and they are in a good school, is in excess of 3,000. And they are assuming that the 12,000 you earn is sad that they must slap 35% on the excess of the 2,000.
Of the 10,000?
Yeah, no, of the 2,000.
No, the excess is on there.
It's 12,000.
Yes. 500.
So they are slapping 35% on the 2,000.
On the 2,000, yes.
All right?
Yes.
Whilst they are already applying 25% on the 10,000. Because they think that the 2,000 that is on top of the 10,000 makes you wealthy. That is the assumption. So they are taking that from you to spread to who? The KIA in the street. They haven't initiated any low-cost housing for the lowly poor.
You are missing something. It's in there. It's
in here. I am not missing.
It is in here.
You see, you don't start collecting the money before you make projections. You start the policy, start the program, and convince me that because I have introduced a pro-poor policy, that for instance, I'm building 100,000 low-cost housing for the lowly poor.
But they mentioned housing.
And this is in the 2018 budget.
Listen,
where is the 2018 budget?
This is a mid-year review.
You have your chance to respond in a second.
This is a mid-year review. So you should be telling me that I have started a program, 10,000 housing units in say Dodowa for the pro-poor. And because of that, I want to take from the people who are assumed to be wealthy so that I can apply to that program for the poor to benefit. Where is it? So again, they are hoodwinking us with a policy they intend to do, and they want to take money from people they claim are wealthy. If I earn 2,000, if there's a 2,000 in addition to my 10,000, how can you assume that makes me a wealthy person?
Okay. I think we can
get Honorable's response now. But I do have to
I am rather reacting to the things she has said. How is so now she's rebutting.
She's rebutting exactly everything that you've said.
I also have a rebuttal to say.
But quickly, let me quote Mr. Ato Forson here. He says, now that 5% has become a straight line levy and has been exempted from VAT, it means that going forward, you will not have the opportunity to offset that 5% from your output VAT. So you are paying more. That is what it means, and we should not be celebrating yet. The truth is that it is an imposition of VAT. Prices of goods and services are going up. Let us all watch the coming days. So should we be worried?
We shouldn't be worried. If we will be sincere to ourselves, government is saying, I am taking just a 12.5%. Why do you want to take the whole 17.5% from the consumer when government itself is taking just a 12.5% from you? It is about honesty. It is about being open. Look, if we want to increase VAT, we will go ahead, have discussions, and then increase it. We wouldn't pass it through the back door. We wouldn't pass it through the back door. We wouldn't pass it through the back door. And there are few.
Let her address some of the issues you raised.
This is an efficiency that we are introducing, and certainly efficiency comes with improvements in whatever you said to do.
Yeah.
What we are saying is that we are now charging you on the 12.5%. So we expect that same 12.5% to go to the consumer, but not doing the 17.5%. So,
how can you say that 12.5% will go to the consumer when you are asking the person to also slap 2.5?
What we are saying is government is taking that outright. Government is taking that
the producer will factor into the final pricing.
Honorable, please break it down, because all of us are a bit confused.
The producer, the manufacturer will slap the 5.5.
5%.
5%.
My issue
on the final pricing.
Honorable,
my issue is
you were very good in the beginning.
Government is taking 12.5 from you. So let us also demand accountability from these producers. It is not all the time that government is the easier target. So government is taking 12.5 from you. How do you then slap an additional 5% on your product?
But to be fair, government is taking an extra 5%.
Government is not taking an extra 5% from you.
As a straight
you were doing the 17.5. Government is saying that I am taking that outright. Moving on. He also makes mention of something that it's because of Honorable, we have to please allow us here, our Honorable here. She has to break it down for us.
She's made the point. She's been looking on this tablet for all this while. She's been making the same point.
Honorable, let's use an example of bread. If I buy bread, or if I buy fabric, like your beautiful fabric you have
let me use
if you buy six
let me use
bread.
Yes, no, it's bread, but bread is not figures. It's not figures.
No,
even if I use the bread and I don't use the figures,
so
it wouldn't really get.
Let's use bread and figures.
Assuming, it's 60 cedis.
Yes.
With everything, you purchase it for 60.
You buy a fabric for 60 cedis. GTV 60 cedis.
Let's use bread.
Okay, you buy 2 bread and butter bread 60 cedis. Okay.
And now government is saying that. Assuming the full thing, the full VAT on it is 17.5. Government is saying that we are taking the 5% outright, the 2.5 of the NHI levy, the 2.5% of the Get Fund outright, and then we are doing just the 12.5%. So you will give us the 12.5, we will assess you on just the 12.5, not on the 17.5. But meanwhile, the 2.5, that's the 5%, we will take it outright from you and then assess you on the 12.5%. That is all we are saying. And like I'm saying, when you're doing these things, they introduce efficiency. And once you introduce efficiency, certainly you maximize revenue wherever you attach this policy.
Honorable, we still didn't get to the bread.
May I rebut?
No.
I will use the bread.
You use the bread. Okay, use the bread. Use the bread.
Let me finish. When I finish.
Oh, you're not done. Okay, please continue.
Let's let the Honorable Minister use the bread example.
But she used the bread.
We want to understand it in the.
She used the bread. She said,
I want to understand in a very simple manner.
Okay.
Right. It's a bit too technical difficult
and
for
then
us
you also
still.
explain it from your version as well.
So
when
right
she's
now,
done.
if you're taking 70, the bread seller gets what? What goes to the government?
And
right?
at which point
yes.
is the 5% taken, and at which point will the 12.5 be taken?
The whole 17.5% is calculated on it. But
so that's part of my 60 cities, for example.
In assessing, you know, there's this input and then an output.
Yes.
And government is saying that previously we were assessing the whole thing on the 17.5. But now we are not going to assess it on the the whole 17.5. We are doing it on just the 12.5. But the extra 2.5 for Get Fund, the extra 2.5 for the NHIL, I am taking that out completely, outright. So your whole assessment will be on the 12.5. Let's say you have 17, the VAT is 17.5%. It's 100 cedis on something, and then the VAT is 17.5 or something on it. The 12% will give us
12.5.
The 12% will give us 12.5, and then the additional will give us the 5. The 2.5 will give us the 5. Government is assessing you on the 12, but the 5, government is taking it outright from you. So now government will not assess you on the 12. It also helps you. It brings about efficiency. So you make sure that your costs does not go beyond that, so that when government assesses you in the input and then the output, you will make some margin on it. But previously, because government was assessing on the whole 17.5%, in a way, they were also not being efficient. Sometimes they are able to sort of bring their input output to the barest minimum, such that you have just something very little. But now we are saying that we are assessing you on just the 12.5%. We are taking the 5% outright, so you won't be assessed on that. So that one is a straight levy. It's out. We will assess you on just the 12.5%. And I think it is bringing about efficiency, not just for government, but you as well. You look at your production methods, you look at the way and how you manage your things, and it will help you, and it will also help government. It's about efficiency. But I'm surprised at my brother's behavior, because previously, in the previous government, it was all about taxes. Everything tax, condoms tax, machetes tax, everything was about taxes. So I'm surprised at their reaction to, some of these measures, like the luxury vehicles and then increasing the income tax band. What happened to them? Since they are in opposition, they see tax as an enemy, no. Something that they are so scared that... No. This was what Honorable Setekwe did throughout his reign. No. Tax. No. Even on something as simple as condoms to prevent HIV. So I am really, really surprised at their behavior. And let me tell you, this government is very open. We will not pass through the back door to do anything untoward to Ghanaians. Okay. If we have to come up with a VAT increment, we will be bold enough to come to you and tell you that this and that is why we think we should do what? We should come up with a new revenue measure in the form of VAT increments.
Okay. I'm sure we'll come back to
yes, but briefly, I just wanted to follow up. Yeah. You mentioned that NDC taxed a lot. Now, what we were expecting was from taxation to production.
Yes.
We didn't get enough of that, right? So what's going on with production now?
Yes. You said from taxation to production.
Yes.
And it's happening.
You said
as
so.
Soon as we removed,
She's only repeating
as soon as we removed the nuisance taxes, as soon as we removed the nuisance taxes, it gave a lot of businesses, especially the private businesses, some room to operate. And come 2018, our non-oil sector of the
GDP.
Yes, has gone up to 5.4%. So it tells you that our taxes, the taxes that we removed, are now yielding results. We met with Guta before we came to the house, and they told us that they don't expect that once you go into business, a year and a half, you should see a lot of returns. But it will take some time, but certainly, I am quoting them directly, but certainly we will see something. And that is what they are seeing. That we are allowing the private sector some room to operate.
I think
inflation level has gone down. A lot of things have gone down.
Yes, please. Let's allow you.
Yes,
let me land there.
She's been speaking for quite some time now.
Okay.
You asked her to demonstrate the bread for you've landed. You've landed. You've only been given a supplementary question, and that one you don't want to ever stop that.
Okay.
I don't think but you are taking away the time. You only have 1 hour. You are taking away the time.
Okay, please.
They ask you bread. All right.
You have bowed to pressure.
No, they didn't bow to pressure.
We have allowed you to.
She's been using the term. We'll take it direct. We'll take it direct. How do you take it direct?
So use the bread example for us, please.
Now,
if I buy bread for 60
yes.
cedis.
No, if you are buying the bread for 60 cedis, we must look at the production cost.
Okay.
What will be the cost of the production? Because the 60 cedis is the final price the consumer is paying.
Yeah.
Okay. My mother used to bake. So producing a bread of this size cost us, say, 40 cedis. Okay. Now we must put our markup.
Yeah.
Now there's a value in it. That is why they will say the value that you have added, it should attract a tax of 12.5. All right? Now, or 17.5.
Yeah.
Now they are saying that value maintain the fundamental 12.5. All right? After your 40 cedis. All right? But on the total production of 40 cedis, we are taking 5% from that. And where do you think my mother will put it? My mother will now add it to the final price for you. So instead of paying the 60 cedis,
I pay 65.
You will be paying 65 or 70.
Wow.
No. Why? That is what they have done.
That is not
honorable.
Why?
Continue.
The 5% will be slapped on the production cost. That's the fight. That's what they are. She's saying that they are taking it direct. How are they taking it direct? Instead of saying that we'll collect that in addition to the 12.5. And the 12.5 is on the values that you have added to the flour and all
But didn't your mother
plus the 12.5?
Didn't your mother originally put 17.5?
My mother originally put everything.
Please, we're trying to understand, please. So before, my mom would put 17.5. She won't put 12.5. Am I right?
Yes. And
so now,
all of that would have reflected in the
60 cedis. So now all we're doing is separating the 5
and my
from
mother,
the 17.5.
My mother, your mother. Yes, that's an increase. Yes. Who is going to produce the bread? Will have to find a way to take that 5% from you.
But why doesn't she take it from the 17.5?
No. Because you see, they are asking her that the only charge maintain the fundamental 12.5 on the value. But the 5%, the total cost of production, will take it from there. And my mother will pay because the tax collector will come and collect it. So she will add it. That is, you see, this is what they have done. They think that we will not appreciate it. So you won't get the bread at 60 cedis again. It will go to like 70.
Okay. So the 5% that you're taking will be of the 40 CD production cost, or you'll be of the
entire 60 CDs production cost.
And the 12.5% will be of what?
The value.
The value.
Value. That is why they say value added. So
the value that you have added,
so like the
60
packaging and all the beautiful things.
So it will go up. You won't get it at 60, and they know.
Honorable, please.
I will continue to make this.
Let me tackle the other.
The production.
No, you didn't allow me to rebut everything that he said, and now you allow him to rebut everything that I said. It's one at a time.
Yes, one at a time.
He's done one, so allow me to also.
For the woman in the corner,
it is not you simplifying. Would you want to? I mean. Would you something where it's supposed to be the same as the price?
No.
She didn't accuse.
I didn't accuse. It's a fact. We all know. You put a tax on condoms. You put a tax on machetes.
You see,
it is not something
we apply those things to massive infrastructure development. Abenaa, show me one. Just one.
How old is this government? And look at what we are doing.
Exactly. What have you done?
Free SHS for one.
Free SHS. It is partial scholarship. My daughter is in Form 2. What's me?
You need for the Form 1.
Exactly. So exactly.
It started last year.
When my daughter is in secondary school.
It started last year.
Let's come back to the budget review.
It started when our government came in.
Is my daughter not in SHS? So don't call it free SHS.
We have to end this year.
It started in 2017.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being great.
Before we go on, just a quick question.
I still want to.
Do you agree with his bread analysis of how the taxes will be taken?
Yes.
Do you agree with the bread analysis?
I don't agree with his analysis. Not at all. My issue is this. Are you trying to tell me that when you are producing something, at the end of the day, with the VAT issue, your input and your output, and then you strike the difference, and then you give that to the government. And then we are saying that yes, it's going to be costed on just the 12.5. So I don't see why you should pass on the other 5% to the
when you government, you are collecting the 5%. You are saying that
you are taking it directly, so it shouldn't be a cost.
What is the meaning of you are taking it directly?
You see,
you are asking me to give you 5% as tax, and you are saying that I shouldn't pass down on to the final consumer. Then how am I going to pay back?
Okay, Honorable.
Where do you assume that I'll get the 5%?
Please, Honorable, please answer that question.
This is a tax that used to be on the whole value.
The whole thing.
And it's simple. I am not taking that anymore from you. Yours is to add your 12.5%. I will take that from the consumer. So,
it's still my 60 cedis. I'm just taking the 5% out, and then the producers too. It's still the 60 cedis.
Increase the numbers or something. That is when you could have made so much noise. But like I'm saying, let us all be fair to ourselves. Be it a producer, be it whoever you are. If you're selling goods, let us be honest. Like you expect government to be honest, you also have to be honest in your dealings and do what is right. I mean, government cannot come and chase you and say, but there are people who will take advantage of what the NDC is saying and increase the cost of their goods.
So that's wrong.
It is not what the NDC is saying. It is the policy.
You speculated on Monday, it failed, and they are coming up with another method.
That is what the policy means.
But that is not it.
Okay, Honorable. Now I want your response on the taxation to production bit. Do you think we've done enough?
No.
You didn't allow me to.
Oh, you mentioned it.
No.
Okay, sorry.
They are killing industry. They are killing manufacturing.
But you said Guta. You met with Guta.
From taxation.
Yeah. Okay, please.
It's now from taxation to more taxation.
Oh God. Okay, please answer.
Let me tell you this. When we increased when we abolished all the 17 nuisance taxes, I can tell you an authority that revenue went up by 23.4% compared to 2016. So once you give them that room, you take away those nuisance taxes, it allows them to do their bits. And that is what we saw in the 2017 numbers, where revenue went up by 23.4% from that of 2016. And as we speak, even though we haven't been able to meet the revenue targets, revenue has gone up by 15% compared to 2017. So it doesn't mean yes, we have a gap of 1.4, so we are not collecting the revenues. Revenues have actually gone up from 2017 numbers, January to May 2017, and then January to May 2018. Revenues have gone up by 14.8%, approximately 15%. So we are doing something, and that is what you see in the non-oil sector. Last year, the oil sector shot up, but this year, because of the policies that is now, moving on the ground, you are seeing a lot of
if revenues have gone up, how come you are saying that you are
not? Because
you didn't let her land. You gave ourselves ambitious targets.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and you were in parliament.
You gave yourself an ambitious target.
Currently, as we speak, just look at the numbers.
It cannot be correct.
Okay. Currently,
they are simply not able to
revenue
collect.
Is over and above the revenue numbers in 2017 by 14.8%. It's a fact. You have never denied this. I'm telling you that we went over and above what we had, and you're saying then you don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I understand what you are saying. You are saying that you said we are unable to meet your revenue targets. Then I said why? Because there are leakages. They said no. It's because we set ourselves higher targets.
I'm not saying because we set ourselves, but I'm saying that
ambitious targets.
Yes, we set ourselves because we believe we can do it. That is why we say we shouldn't be mere spectators, but citizens challenging ourselves to move on.
And now there are leakages. You are simply
we all accept
because you are expending so much.
We all accept that there are leakages.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we have 110 ministers, but we don't take double salaries. We have 110 ministers, and majority of us are from parliament.
Thank you. We're not here to discuss double salary. We are not here to discuss double salary. Thank you so much.
Now let the court decide. Double salary.
Today is Friday.
Go and answer.
It is not a matter of
Honorable Rockson-Nelson and Honorable Abenaa Osei Asare. We thank you both so much for spending your Friday morning with us and helping us understand the budget. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. Whoa. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi, everyone. It's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe. Swag.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day. The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Jetey. Can you show me what love is? 'Cause baby, I didn't need your love. The fact of the matter is, I really, really need you. I will love me some more, and I ain't letting go. And I thank God that I have someone like you. Odo Papa Bang. Amenye, Yankame, Yedeng. Sewa, sweetie, Brahmin chain. You know that I need ya. Oh, pese me kade, the pese me kase. Oh, EFL, inko EFL. Wouldn't surely I care. Oh, EFL, oh, EFL, fell. Wouldn't surely I care. Ba make wakeshi Usani country no wa ba make wake. You for no say you be the shorty way I never did take play. Sick of you I'm in the church on a Tuesday. I know they drink, I go pop bottles if you do say. Whoa, you get boy but you know I'm better. Sweet girl and I really wanna tell you got that for be love. I could be that fella if my heart strong be. Girl you my acapella. Papa bang. Na menye yankame yedeng. Sewa, sweetie, Brahmin chain. You know that I need ya. Oh, pese me kade, the pese me kase. Oh, EFL, inko EFL. Wouldn't surely I care. Oh, EFL, inko EFL. Wouldn't surely I care. I just wanna know if when you wake up in the morning, do you really think of me? I wanna know. And do you wake up thinking of things to do to make my day? You can have it your way, she says to me. Na menye yankame yedeng. Sewa, sweetie, Brahmin chain. You know that I need ya. Oh, pese me kade, me pese me kase. Me pese me kase. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Fell. Me pese me kase. Thank you. Shout out to Phantom Beats, man. Shout out to you.
So that was Jetey. I cannot wait to learn more about him. He's super talented, and what an amazing way to end our week. Now, I have a very special young woman here today. A couple of weeks ago, we learned about her. There's a story on citynewsroom.com that says former Kaya overcomes odds, honored with Ashesi Presidential Award. And I was like, who is this brilliant young woman? Now, I'll tell you a bit about her story. She says she found a picture right? So she graduated in 2018. The simplest things that are sometimes our greatest motivators. In Tenny's case, it was a photo of someone's college graduation day. She kept the picture and told herself that I really wanted to be that person someday. And even though my family could not afford to pay my fees, I was ready to do what it takes. So I knew I had to find a way. She studied, she worked hard, she was resilient, she had a lot of grit, believed in herself, and she got into Ashesi with the MasterCard Foundation, so a MasterCard Foundation scholar. Now, while at Ashesi, it was not easy. Her first semester, she struggled. She failed a couple of courses, but she kept on going. And this year, she graduated as a presidential scholar. She got a chance to meet the president, and now she's here with us to tell us all about her journey. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Tenny?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How do you find the strength? What motivates you? So tell me a bit about your childhood.
Okay, so I'm from the Upper East region.
Okay.
And my parents and my family, we lived in Takoradi. And my father was a truck pusher. Okay. And my mother worked in a choba.
Wow.
And we had a single room and we were very comfortable.
Aww.
But my dad passed away and my mother couldn't afford to pay the water bill, pay the rent, pay our school fees with her choba money. Yeah. So we decided to go to the north, because the north, we have a family house there. You know those mud houses?
The mud house.
Yeah. And we don't need, there's no electricity there, so we don't need to think about electricity. And the school fees there is subsidized. So we moved there, and my uncle said I should come and help him with the house, in the house. So he lived in Kumasi. Okay. So by that time I was in JSS2. Nice. So I went to Kumasi and I finished there. JSS.
What school did you go to?
I went to Esresu DA2.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went there and I finished my GSS. When I finished, I did very well. And my uncle said he also had his own family to run. So he said he can't give me a formal education. However, he can help me get a form of training. So I had two choices, to either go be a hairdresser or a dressmaker. So with that one, he would just pay for me to go, and when I finish, I'll come back and then I'll have a form of
training.
Yeah, training. So, and I wanted something more. Even though it was good, he was trying his best, but I wanted something more. So I stayed home for a year, and I worked as a KIA.
How was that like? What was your first day like?
So I went there not to work as a KIA, but I went there to get any occupation. Okay. Initially, I wanted to, because my mom has been working in a choba.
You wanted a choba?
So I wanted a choba job. So that one, I'll go there and I'll wash the bowls. They'll give you food there. You eat. Then when they close, when you finish cleaning the place, you sleep there. So that one was much better. Yeah. But at that time, in the north, I'm not the only one who go through that. We have a lot of girls in the north that comes to Kumasi to work in order to pay their fees or do something. But at that time, so a lot of them has come. It was vacation, so a lot of them has come. Wow. And the various chobas were occupied. So
wow.
I had to go back home and look for the next day restructure. So what else can I do? So I went back, and then I needed a basin so that at least that one. So I started. Yeah.
How was it? Like,
it was.
Did it take some getting used to?
So, you know, the market women, there has been KIA, so they know their customers. So you coming in first,
you have to prove yourself.
Exactly. So when you meet someone, they will tell you, oh, I have someone that I work with. So it was hard the first day, but within 2 weeks going, I also had people that I worked for. So it was better. So on a normal day, you get 10 cedis. On a
Just
good
10
day,
cedis.
On a good day, you get 15 cedis, and on a bad day, you get 2 to 5 cedis.
Wait, but on one trip, because I know for me, when I shop at Medina Market, for example, and I give, they don't even ask me for the money. Is it wrong to ask, like, if you're carrying a lot and you say, Madam, this is 7 cedis?
Some people will ask you. Some will ask you how much.
Because I ask and they don't tell me.
So usually tell you that like any amount that you give me, but usually some people are very rude. You carry their things for a very long distance, and when they finish, they will just put coins, and the coins, the way they even give it to you, as if you are not a human being.
Wow.
And some too, they won't even, like when you ask us, we won't tell you, we'll tell you any amount, and some too will give us like a lot of money.
Sometimes I give them 6 CDs and they're happy, and I'm thinking that's not anything, but they're thinking that's a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, you would think something like that will break you, right? It will make you lose hope in life. Where did you draw your motivation from? How did you look past all the challenges you were facing day to day to say, I want to go to a university and I'm going to make it happen?
So the first thing is my mother. My mother was not educated. My family, I'm the first to be educated.
Wow.
Yes, I'm the first to be.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my mother was not educated, so she was very like, at least I should get some form, at least I should be able to write my name.
Yeah.
So she has been encouraging me a lot. And also, as you said, like I was going to my mother's workplace with her every Saturday. So when I'm not going to school, I go with her. So she will be stirring the banco and I watch. And when we are coming back, you see that her master will give me 1 CD. And that was a big deal. So every Saturday I will go to work with her. So I was going with her and I saw the picture of someone with the graduation gown. It was very beautiful. And I didn't know
I don't think
much.
it's as beautiful as yours, by the way. We have a picture of you in your graduation gown, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was very nice. And at that time, I didn't know much about it, but I knew it was something related to education. So anytime I kept it as a daily reminder of my life, where I want to be and my reality at that moment. So it kept telling me that it's not permanent, like I will get there. So it also motivated me to
When did you go to SS? So you took this gap year, you worked in the market, you saved up money, and what was the process like for SS?
So I went to, what happened is, when I finished in 2007, that was GSS, and I went to SS in 2008, and I'm part of the 4-year batch, so I was able to get enough money, so I bought my chore balls, I paid for my admission fee. So when I got there, I paid my admission fee, so for that year it was fine. But the next year, I have to pay school fees, and there was no money at home, and
so
my only option was to go back to work. That's every third term, because the third term is usually a long vac, so it will enable me get enough money. So sometimes I stay like a week or 2 extra in order to get the money, because let's say when we vacate, when I'm going, I don't have money, so I borrow money. So you have to think about the transportation, someone's money that you borrow, you have to calculate, do a lot of math. So yeah. So then I'll go back and then I'll pay my fees. But in the second term, I have to stay home and help farm so that at least there will be enough food in the house before I go to school. So I did that till I finished SS.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How was your exercise? I mean, did you have fun in school? Did you enjoy the SS experience? What were some highlights for you in school?
I think it was fun. It was fun, but it could have been better if I hadn't have to, because during vacation we will see some of my classmates, they are going for extra classes. Me, I'm coming to work, and sometimes when I stay like 2 weeks or 1 week late before coming, school has already started, so I have to first of all come and catch up. Second of all, I have to be punished for coming to school late.
Wow.
Right. So
and teachers won't understand.
I don't know.
So where did you draw your drive from? I know you mentioned this picture, but what kept you going day in, day out, right? And for me as a young woman, when I see someone else maybe doing hair or sewing clothes, I might. Did you ever doubt the journey?
Yeah, sometimes like, so the best part will be after SS. So that was the time that I doubted, like I almost gave up.
What happened after SS?
You know, it's hard. It's hard when you, in the short round, as a woman, you go to the market, you carry people's things, you can't even buy something nice for yourself.
Dress for yourself.
You use that money to pay school fees, and the school is not even a fun place to be at. So it's like you are doing a double hard work.
Why didn't you like school? Why was school not fun?
So you punish me, and I have to catch up, and
it's just a lot. Yeah. So what kept you going?
I hope. One thing, hope. The hope that one day I'll become a better person.
But how do you keep hope alive? Because listen, you're stronger than I am. You know, you had every reason in the world to say, I'm done.
So when
what kept you going?
When I go home, so sometimes if I go to, I went to Burger Girls, by the way.
Okay.
So let's say if I go to school.
Shout out to Burger Girls.
So let's say if I go to school we have lights, we have like everything, right? And I go back home and I look at my home where it is. I have this drive. So sometimes in the school, like it's normal. But when I go home, I have this drive to work harder. So sometimes in school, you see that my friends, let's say they are going for entertainment, they are doing this. When I just remember how my home is, then I tend to take my book and learn. Because we are all from different places and we met there. And at the end of the day, we all go back to where we come from. And I will go back to where I am, which is not good. So how do I improve it? By working hard. So yeah.
Did you ever have challenges with your academics? Because for me, now I'm imagining long back, you're in the market working. You come to school late. Did you have to work maybe 4 times harder than the other students who didn't have anything? I mean, my co-host Wilberforce and I were discussing the importance of young women in science and math, and even in school, where the young boys, they just come to school and that's it. They only worry about school, right? But then the girls have chores and everything at home, and now you even have to work to pay for your fees. So how was that journey like? The 4 years you were in secondary school. So
during vacation, as I said, some of my colleagues will be reading. So what I do is, in the market, when I'm going, I'm not the only one. I go with about like 6 to 7 girls, and when we are coming back, the only 2 or 3 people will be coming back.
Why?
So what we used to do is, since our colleagues will also be going for extra classes, what then can we do to help ourselves is to read. So we work during the night, during the day, then at night we read. So let's say 4 people will be sleeping, whilst 2 is reading. So when we are about to sleep, you wake the other 2 to get up and learn. So that's what we do. So that one, it will help us to learn, and 2, it will help us to take care of each other, because 1, the market is not for us alone. We have men, we have truck pushers, we have other people there. So it will help us to protect ourselves. Yeah. Wow. So that one, we will also catch up with those who are learning. It's a way, even though we didn't get the chance to have extra classes, have teachers to teach us, that was a form of studying, getting up. So
I must say your drive is off the roof. Now tell me about Ashesi.
Yeah, Ashesi.
When did you decide you wanted to go to Ashesi?
Trust me, where I come from, there's no light. Like, I don't watch television. I don't use the computer. So I never heard of Ashesi. Like, never heard of Ashesi. So what happened was, when I finished, what's the name?
Secondary school.
I realized that there was no one to help me. And remember, I had to wear this graduation gown. I have to dress like this woman. So what happened was that I knew that there was no help in the house. So I planned that I'll work extra another year, get money, then go to training college.
Okay.
Because training college, I like teaching, first of all. I used to teach some of my classmates.
Wow.
So I think that was what
Your
I
calling.
think, like, yes. So my plan was that I'll work for a year, go to training college, use the training college allowance to pay my fees. Then I'll come out, wear my graduation gown, and take care of my family. That's
a long plan.
I know. I think I look at the future. I don't look at my present circumstance. I look at the future, what will happen in the future. So that was the plan. So my mother said, oh, that's a great idea. So
go for it.
Like, she will help me. So we should go together. While she's working, I'm working. At the end, we'll bring our money together. Then I can go to school. I don't need to think about school fees.
Yeah.
So we went there. That was in 2013. So we went there last week for us to go home, I applied to training college and other things. And I had like 9. I had 9. So my grade was good. So I was able to get a lot of...
Congratulations.
Thank you. So the last week for us to go, then last week, that was the plan. The plan for it. For us to go back so that I'll go to school. My mother went to buy firewood and she was crossing the road. So she was knocked down by a chocho. And all the money that we've worked for it, I have to use the money to pay for her hospital bill. So it was, when everything settled, I knew like there was nothing I could do. I can't go back and change so that she won't
start it all over again.
I can't go back and change the day, what happened the day. I just need to move on. So after everything has settled, I was going out of the hospital and I met this woman. She was crying and there were people around her. So I went and I asked her why she was crying. The only daughter is in the emergency room. Her husband is outside, but he's coming. And the girl needs blood, and the woman's blood is not to be given to the girl. So and the people around there, their blood doesn't match. So I checked my blood and I was O positive. So I donated for
While you're going through all of this and you have your mom to worry about and you don't even know what the future looks like. Blood?
Yeah. So I knew I couldn't. So I went for it, and later the woman came to thank me and she asked me what I was doing in here, and I told her the whole story. And she knew, so she had asked me if I've heard of Camfed, and I don't have no idea who. So she told me that there are 3 northern regions to afford to pay their fees. So
like you.
Yeah, like me. So when I went to Camfed, this woman, Auntie Sally, she was head, and that she relaxed. She would take care. So I applied.
How did that feel? Having another. It's time to relax. I'll take out.
Most of the time when I was going through that, no one except my mom. So having someone who actually cared was really nice, and that was the. I look back and
hero.
Yeah. So and Chelsea, when I went for my interview, so I was no longer a Camfed, but a big deal. So I went to Chelsea. My school fees was covered. I had a laptop which I've never touched before coming there, and I had accommodation, everything, even
and
the
like
clothes.
For the first time in your life, you
can
be a regular girl.
I don't have to work in the rain carrying people's things in order to pay for my fees. It was very nice. But you know, Chelsea,
it's like heaven. It doesn't feel like Ghana. In Ghana,
I know it's different. People who were from my background and people who were different, the opposite of me. I had all these people. Even I had the president's son in my. It was hard, you know. So I had never touched a computer before. So I go to my and we are coding. And they code me. I'm looking for where Z is.
Find where it is.
It was very my bag. I'm going to like text a meaning class, and they are, you know. At the end of the semester, I failed like 3 courses, and I passed only 1. The one that I even passed, it was very like. At the end of the semester, my GPA was like 1.2.
Wow.
2.5/4. And I had to.
How did you? Regular human beings would have been like, okay, this is my excuse to quit. And have you ever quit at anything in your life?
Okay, sometimes. So I felt disappointed in myself. I worked so hard to get to this, this place, and at the end I go back, pack my things, and go back to the same situation I was. Go back to the north. My mother, like everyone Everybody will ask me why you are here, because I went to Ashesi. I had this great opportunity and I couldn't make it.
So how did you bounce
back? And that
was
not an excuse, right?
How did you bounce back to being the person graduate?
Yeah. So Ashesi, there are a lot of facilities available if you really want to make it. There are a lot. So you can take it there for them to
help you.
Center where they can help you. And I was personal academic advisor. That's Mrs. Ewa. And every day I just go and I'll be crying. When I finish, then how was your day? Then we'll talk about how and I'll be answering it myself. So how will I about it? And we had Miss Dinke, Ruth Kwaka. She too, I'll go to her and she'll look for magazines for me to read in order to know what is going on around. And then I have to learn, maybe learn how to type.
So it sounds like you had a lot of. Now I want at you right now, proud of the woman that you are. So what advice would you give all the young women out there who are now, you are their graduation picture, right? And they feel like giving up. What would you tell them?
I'll tell them that life, so one thing that let me choose who we want to be.
But we choose who we want.
You can't decide choose who you want to be.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
So a lot of vision. I plan ahead, so I have a lot of vision for myself and who I want to be in the next 10 years. So we shouldn't always look at the present. We should look at the future. Things happen. Like you go through stop points. They are supposed to make us stronger. And I think the things that I went through has made me very tough, and I can fit in anywhere. Like it has made me very strong. Yeah. So we should always look at the future, but not the present.
Thank you so much. It's been my honor and to all of us. We look at our present circumstances, how our environment limits us. The limitations of our environment do not define who we become, right? We have it in us to be who. Proud of you. 10, we're very proud of you. In Ghanaian society, to learn and how we can avoid certain things that might lead us down that path. Do not go anywhere. Remember, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550 585
They unfold 2020 news all day, all the time. Politics, sports, news. We bring you the world.
All the news in 20.
Go.
Catching up with all the trending social media conversations. We might just even Skype you. Just rise to the top.
Absolutely.
We really
and
can.
It's 18th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals. cover meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag. At 5 p.m. only on.
Tune in to The Point of View, Monday p.m. as Abenaa our guest. Ask them the relevant question with Abenaa Avle. Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Okay, well, and Tenny, very, very touching story. Half of the cameramen were, you could see tears running down their face, but at the end of the day, they were all proud, and we are carefully following your story. That is a success. A few messages here. Hafiz, who paid for the 5%, the producer or the said every government that structure to operate. Happy birthday to Mr. Safo, Mr. Peter Safo of Our Lady Soman Last Stop. And well, that's coming from Apioko. And well, quite a few messages here. Kojo Ansa Sasraku also says even collect taxes. Aren't your Dafeamekpor's statements? Aren't your join free SHS? Why must everything be politicized? And using psychological means to deceive Ghanaians, minority quite on the way, and the NPP quickly make a U-turn to use different language. Anyway, so keep your mind been talking about so far insightful once here at City, and now we want to talk about obesity. Good morning. I've been joined by, pronunciation correct, yes, Dr. Delali in that regard, and he's talking to us about obesity this morning. And welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I want us to focus on how you define it in the first place.
Well, obesity is officially defined as any condition in which there is excess weight affects health. It could be the excess weight is processes, or the excess pressure on joints and causing joint pain and joint damage, or the excess weight is limiting the ability to breathe or respire appropriately. So any way in which the excess weight affects your health, that is defined as obesity. There are different classes of index, but basically it's when you have excess weight and it affects your health.
So because there are clear indications that people who are not of even enormous weight have cholesterol. I just want us to get that. Okay, so it affects people in various ways. It can lead to illnesses.
Well, virtually you name it. Obesity is at the center of virtually every single chronic hypertension, diabetes, all sorts of cancers, strokes, heart disease, digestive diseases, and it's because we always used to think that our fat cells were just a storage area for energy, but now research has shown us that our fat cells actually produce many chemicals, in and of themselves, hormones, peptides, proteins, and they've discovered over 100 different chemicals that our fat cells produce, and out of those, only 2 are good for us. So you can imagine all of those chemicals are working and have effects on other parts of the body to cause disease.
Yeah, so among some of these diseases, if I'm right, include diabetes, hypertension, sometimes even cancer, stroke, and other heart conditions, and it also includes impotence. Is this a fact? For instance, impotence does extra ability to do these, because I want to get a direct correlation between impotence and maybe kidney disease.
For impotence, for instance, you tend to have an estrogen, and as you know, the female sex hormone. When you have an excess of estrogen, and where even just weight, there is a reduction in testosterone level in the body. And we need testosterone in order to, as men.
Good. Now, I want to weight. Weight does not necessarily mean fat. So, for instance, a bodybuilder who would ordinarily maybe have more testosterone in his system, would he still have such a condition?
No, not necessarily. That's a very good point. Body mass index is on weight and height. Accurate for the fact that you mentioned, because they're heavy.
And you can have a short body builder
right,
as well.
Right. They may have a very high BMI, but it's whereas somebody else, smaller BMI, but it's all a better, and there are some specialized measure the percentage of.
Okay, so are there ways to avoid that may in the long term or in the short term give you all these health complications?
Yes, it can. Well, it starts first of all with knowledge as to what causes it and what brings it about. Now, over the past several years, there's been a lot of new breakthroughs in research. We used to think that obesity came about just as a result of eating too much, exercising enough. But more and more we've come to learn that those are actually just symptoms of the condition, that they are under. You do not treat those underlying factors, and you just treat the symptoms, intake or exercising more. You're just kind of putting a stopgap, a temporary stopgap on the problem. Eventually, your body is going to start resisting those efforts and try and take you back to where you were in the beginning. And that's the reason.
So what's the solution then?
Well, so one of the
mention some of these things so that we can put everything. I should avoid foods like this,
So sugar, any soft drink, because they're all loaded with sugar. Fruit juices, that's something that a lot of simple fruit juice,
even if it's 100%,
it's 100% fruit, because what happens? Fruit is supposed to be eaten in the way nature intended or God intended, whichever way you want to say it. So nature made fruit and packaged it with roughage. Right? So if you take an orange, you're supposed to eat it, you get all that roughage. That slows down the rate at which the sugar in the fruit, and therefore your body is able to handle it. When you drink fruit juice, that roughage is not there. It gets absorbed rapidly and causes an insulin surge that puts your body into fat storing mode. And so because of that, and people don't then soft drinks.
Wow.
Yeah. If you look at the label.
Okay. So these are some of the causes of obesity, and how got into that. I want you to maybe summarize, give us a summary of how to prevent this.
Okay. Yeah, so
you avoid
processed foods that are make sure you found that if you get less than 6 hours of sleep on average, hormones that lead to obesity tend to increase. Okay. Stress and anxiety is another huge your body to shift into fat storage. Now, one of the more recent things that have come up is the use of medications and supplements. As I mentioned, we always used to think it was just a question of willpower. But now we know that we have to attack the underlying mechanisms, the underlying hormonal issues. Yes. So there are supplements and medications that are coming out. An issue has been with the side effect profiles of those medications, but amongst all of us in the obesity society, in the US, a patient comes and straight at the very beginning, we start them on some kind of medication or supplement.
Okay, so there's been breakthroughs. So that'll be my final question to you on the breakthroughs in obesity medication and internal medicine. I want you to tell us really, what the new, means.
So, as I mentioned, the form of medication or supplement, the weight loss effort. Now, that doesn't mean that once you take it, you can do whatever you want. That's what a lot of people think. I can just pop a pill and I can eat whatever I want. These are meant to potentiate your weight loss efforts. Almost just a waste of time. Now, as I said, there are a lot of things out there. I personally, through the years of using all of these supplements and using different types, even on myself, have come up with, I've discovered a particular formulation that I recommend to all of my clients. It's called La Vida Lean. It's actually available here in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Or if anyone's interested.
Okay,
in it.
So thank you very much, Dr. Delali Hevi. He is a double board certified in obesity medicine and is a member of the American Association. Okay, thank you.
That's
all. Thank you very much. We'll be talking to her new crush. Jetey for them. So let's hear how the conversation.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations. You tweet it, we'll read it.
No matter your situation.
17th of June. Yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes. Social media to catch up. DTV.
Well, I've been enjoying some really great music all morning. And the music. Good morning, Jetey.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good.
Forever, really, but like uni. I was supposed to go to law school, but I've always had the passion to do music. So when I became an adult, I made the decision. 24.
Wow. Long okay. You were like 20 music.
Stories that I hear from basically.
What's the process?
And then I work with other creatives because, well, we get in the studio, we're about it, but if not, we get like a concrete something from there. Yeah.
So how do you want to... Now let's ask, did you grow up? How did you end up?
Where did I grow up? Okay, I was born at La Polyclinic.
Okay.
Lived in Labadi, Teshi, Sakumono. Traveled when I was like 14, about to turn 15. Went to Ohio. Went to high school over there, Horizon Science College. I went to Ohio State, then I went to Ohio in political science and international relationships.
Interesting. Why political science?
Because I like politics. I like the betterment of everything, and the only way of it. So I got done with that 2018, and then music.
And then you came back.
And I came back. Yes.
Okay. Where do we find your music if we are? Yeah, that we can.
For social media, it is Jetey, so JETEYGH on both platforms. That will be Instagram and Twitter, and then with the music, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. I wanted to call you that.
Say it again.
Jetey, like
so they can. So I'm gonna wrap up.
All right, thank you for having me.
For 2020 news. All day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. We bring you the world in 20. minutes.
And that's all the news.
Joining us, so we want Jetey.
We'll dance.
Step in front of the mic.
The new records, amen.
Kiss and tell the I turn in my car to you, 'cause true love just make a colo. I have nobody else but you. If you move, girl, I go for love. And I want to know so we and walk off. My people, if you say, who do you know? So I'm inside the assault,